What's up, Fit Body Bootcamp? How are you? I'm Diana Coulian, the recipe hacker, and I have Aaron Alendrino with me from True Lean.
What is up, guys? Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well.
Guys, I'm super excited because we're making pizza today, and I've made a lot of healthy pizzas in my life, but these two crusts that I'm going to show you how to make today are by far not only the healthiest crusts I've ever made, they're the easiest to make, and they don't fall apart. Because if anybody has tried to make cauliflower into pizza crust, you know how frustrating mushy pizza is. And this is not mushy pizza. So guys, super exciting. Before we get started, I wanted to congratulate everyone who is sticking with the challenge, our September 10-week transformation challenge. Guys, we're at the end of week 4.
What are we at? How many pounds have we lost so far in 4 weeks in? This
Guys,
is crazy.
This is crazy, and this is just those of you who have reported your weight. So we know it's more than this, but it's 44,000 pounds have already.
44,000 pounds.
Guys, that's insane. That's what is that, 10,000 pounds a week?
And that's from 9,000 people that have sent in their numbers.
Yeah.
That means there's another 5,000 out there that have also lost weight and have had amazing results.
Guys, if you're
absolutely amazing.
If you're doing the challenge and you've lost weight, please let us know in the comments because we want to give you a specific personalized shout out because I'm just so proud and blown away by all of the effort you guys are putting in and just the amazing results you're getting. It gets me so pumped up and excited.
Absolutely. What a great way to kickstart the holiday season, the New Year plan, all of it.
Heck
awesome.
Yeah. And you can still eat this pizza and still keep losing weight, which is pretty amazing.
Love that. Boom.
Okay, guys, I want to announce who is the winner of the slow cooker from last week. We asked for you guys to share, what's your vision for the new you? And you are turning into a new you because with all that weight lost and with all these new great habits, you guys are transforming. And Michelle Lamont, thank you so much for sharing. I was really touched by yours. You're talking about how you're modeling a healthy lifestyle for your kids. Your grown daughter and your grandkids are making you healthy food when you come over and they're trying it and you're making an impact on their life as well. So thank you so much for sharing, Michelle. We are gonna send you a slow cooker. So Tyler's gonna reach out to you. I'm gonna get that to you in the mail and keep it up, girl. That's amazing.
Congratulations, Michelle. That's awesome.
Okay.
That's the beginning.
Seriously, yeah, it's just the beginning and that ripple effect. It's it's affecting your kids and it's affecting your grandkids and that's amazing. I'm gonna get teared up here. Okay, so for this week, the theme on the page and what we're focusing on is identifying what our negative habits are, and these are negative habits that they're detracting from your fitness results. They're getting in the way of that weight loss, and they're things that you might not be aware of. So this week, and just as we're here cooking with us and talking to us, let's think about what habits do you have that could possibly be really messing up your fitness results, and then what healthy habits can we insert and put in there to just make you closer to that new you that you're shooting for. So, do you have any? Did you used to have any bad habits?
I have a few bad habits, but I would say that one of the first things that I do every single morning is drink about 40 ounces of water, but I add some powdered greens in the morning. That way, if I do mess up in the day, I had a little ice cream last night. That's kind of my confession.
What flavor?
It was Chunky Monkey. It was delicious. Yeah, it had pretzels in it. It was absolutely amazing.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so I do powdered greens first thing in the morning, and I do a full 40-ounce glass of water, which is a good way to start the system. You wake up dehydrated in the morning.
Well, and it's crazy because most people wake up in the morning dehydrated
and start with coffee
and
then further dehydrate.
Yeah, and before we went live, I was telling Aaron the last 2 weeks I haven't been drinking coffee right when I wake up because I'm looking for these habits that are getting in the way of me being healthier. So I would, on my way to work, drive into Starbucks and it was the big one, guys, but it's just black coffee, and I would put my stevia. So I'm well, I'm not taking in calories, I'm not taking in sugar, but I'm dehydrating myself further. So that's my unhealthy habit that I'm getting rid of, and I'm replacing
it. And it's just awareness more than anything, because those habits are just automatic after a while, but as soon as we become aware of it, we can shift it for something else. It is a healthier habit.
And that's the detriment of a habit is that it is automatic, but that's also the great thing about a habit, because once we install these healthy habits, it's automatic.
Yep.
So it's you waking up and drinking that big 40-ounce thing of water and greens. That
great way to start the day.
Yeah, and let's speak to the greens because I imagine these are the greens you drink.
These are the greens we drink. Yep, absolutely. So this is such an awesome product as a whole because it's got things in it like wheatgrass, spirulina, broccoli powder, beetroot powder, a lot of the vital micronutrients that we don't typically get in our busy days, busy lives. And for me, more than anything, it's a great way to start out the day with that vegetable insurance because I had the ice cream last night, which I feel a little guilty about, but I know that
talking about the ice cream.
It was so amazing. It was absolutely worth it.
Nobody go eat ice cream right now. You know what? I have a recipe for protein frozen yogurt.
Yes, we've had that. It's amazing.
RealHealthyRecipes.com. Use your Truline protein, and that's your ice cream.
Boom. Look at that. Look at that.
Well, I can tell you that my daily coffee that I used to drink doesn't have all the nutrients that this powdered greens does.
Exactly.
So that's a cool thing. I think I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to add the powdered greens to my water in the morning, drink that on my way in, and then be hydrated and healthier, which is what it's all about, guys. Like, we are in this to be healthier, to be fitter, and just to be better versions of ourselves. All right, I'm dying. Okay, so please post about your healthy habits, and let's do the hashtag this week of hashtag #IamFitBody, which that's amazing. I love that. I love that sentiment. Okay, so we're actually going to use our powdered greens in our pesto, which is exciting. Yeah. So, okay, we're gonna get right into it. And I would like to also note that we have Ellen. You guys all know and love Ellen from Facebook, and you've seen her typing, but this is really exciting. This is the first time we've ever done this. Ellen is on the phone right now. Can you say hello, Ellen?
I can, yes. Hi,
She's here.
I am very excited to be here this week with you guys via audio. And excited to talk to you all.
Yeah, so Ellen is here, guys. Super exciting. Now, when we have questions about nutrition, we're just going to throw them out to her, and she can have a voice in all of this. Because Ellen is really involved behind the scenes. She actually helps me with really even figuring out what ingredients do we want to put in these recipes, with the ultimate goal of giving you guys the healthiest recipe that tastes as good as it can so that we can all meet our goals.
Love it.
So, very cool. Okay, guys.
So what do you got going on here?
Okay, yeah,
First off,
there's a lot going on. Guys, I've been up since 4 a.m. I made 4 brand new recipes today. We're really only going to get into the pizza crust, but I'm going to post all 4 of them because we needed toppings. So, okay, we have a pizza crust here that is made primarily with chicken and quinoa.
Okay.
There's also some eggs, so it's super high protein. There are some healthy, complex carbohydrates in it. And then
protein pizza all day long.
Protein pizza
I love it.
with our super greens pesto. And then on top of it, I did I call it my perfectly seasoned oven baked chicken breast, which I am going to post the recipe for that because it's super easy to do and it's just got all the seasonings that you want, and we can have it come out nice and tender. And threw that on the pizza. We've got some fresh mozzarella on there. The second pizza crust, it's for all you vegetarians out there, because I know you're out there because you message me and you contact me and you're like, give me vegetarian recipes. So guys, we can make pizza crust just using the quinoa and some water and some other little things. So this is for you guys. It's really easy and fun. So
cool.
I figure Aaron can go ahead and make the pizza crust with the meat, and I am gonna make the pizza crust with the vegetarian items. So the very first ingredient that you'll notice is in both of our crusts is quinoa. And most of you, especially on the challenge, I'm sure you've made quinoa, and it's very, if you think of a pizza crust that's, like breaded, and you think of quinoa, which is like hard before you cook it, and then it's like fluffy and squishy, like how do you turn that, take the quinoa and turn it into this? And the process is we're actually going to soak it.
Okay.
And Ellen had some really cool things to say. She's going to share about the benefits of actually soaking your quinoa, guys. So I actually have done this for us. So my crust has more quinoa. Mine has a full cup of quinoa, and Aaron's crust has half a cup of quinoa. But basically what I did is I put it in here, and I filled it up with water, and I let it sit for 6 hours. So Ellen, can you explain to us what happens when we soak quinoa and why we want to do that nutritionally?
Yeah, absolutely, Diana. And it's actually cool. So there's a lot of different reasons that actually you get a lot more benefit out of your grains when you take the little extra time to soak them. And actually one of the biggest things is quinoa, and again, a lot of our different grains are going to have these things as well, but there's a little bit of like a coating on the outside of that grain. And that coating is something called phytic acid. And it actually gives the grain or the quinoa a little bit of almost a bitter taste. So if you were to cook the quinoa without soaking it and kind of taking a little bit of time to do that versus soaking it, you might notice actually a taste difference in between the two. So it does help give the quinoa actually a better taste.
Okay, so first thing,
it limits and takes out some of that toxin. And again, this isn't something that's super dangerous to us. It's a plant toxin. If we were to have a lot of it, we would want that to happen. But it helps to be able to soak it and take that out of there as well. And then overall, soaking the quinoa also helps with the digestion. So actually the amount of nutrients that our bodies can absorb from the quinoa depends on how well we're able to digest it, and soaking it actually improves that digestion.
Awesome.
So guys, there's a lot of benefits to doing something as simple as, you know, if you know you're going to make this pizza tonight, when you wake up in the morning and you go down to the kitchen to get your water and your powdered greens, put your quinoa in a little bowl, cover it with water, cover it with a plate, and let it sit all day. And those toxins are coming out. It's going to taste better, and then you're
improve the digestion.
Yeah, so you're going to digest it better and absorb more of the nutrients that are available to it.
Cool.
Okay, so the next step after we have soaked this is we need to rinse it, because those toxins have come out, but now they're still here and they're still in the water. And so to rinse your quinoa, you're just going to use a really fine meshed colander like this. And so I'm going to go ahead and let Aaron rinse his. So you're just literally going to dump your quinoa into there, and I can give you a spoon if you need.
Right.
It kind of becomes like a clump. And what's really cool is that if you leave it for longer than 6 hours, like I think I left one of them for like 10 hours yesterday, and it starts to have these cute little sprouts, which I think it's cute. Okay, so we're just dumping it into the colander, and then you're just going to turn the water on, and we're rinsing it. We're getting all of those toxins off and out of there, and you'll see how the quinoa has kind of plumped up as it had soaked for 6 to 8 hours. Perfect, and when you're done with that, you can just stick it in this bowl here. So that is the first step of preparing our quinoa. And guys, I think that's probably the hardest step, because this is really such a simple recipe, but just having the foresight to soak it ahead of time and then just taking that extra little step to rinse it. And guys, if you're just making quinoa as part of your meal plan and you don't soak it, I would still recommend, and Ellen recommended, you would still rinse it. You want to do mine?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So again, Aaron had half a cup for his meat crust, and I have a full cup for the vegetarian crust. And as I was saying, you know, we're taking this quinoa, and it's like, how is it going to turn into a crust? Well, by soaking it for so long and having it plump up, we are now going to move to the food processor, which you guys know, the food processor is my favorite gadget in the kitchen. Like, I don't think I could survive or live if I didn't have a food processor, and that's why I'm excited to give one of these away next week. So, #IamFitBody. Tell us why, because I mean, these things last forever, and there's so many things you can do, like make this amazing crust. The pesto, the Super Greens pesto, I also made in the food processor. There's a lot of uses. Do you have a food processor, Aaron?
I do not. Tyler, put me down for I Am Fit Body on the comments there.
Yes, tell us about your habits. Okay, perfect. So we've prepared our quinoa, and now we are going to move over to the food processor. We're going to go ahead and run through the vegetarian one first. And we are just going to throw all of our ingredients in. So I had the larger portion, so a full cup of the sprouted, rinsed quinoa is going into the food processor. And then the second ingredient is a 1/4 cup plus 1 tablespoon of water. And I measured that out earlier. Okay, now we're going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And this is what's going to help it be kind of like bread-like, and it's going to help it bind together. And then we're going to do 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. You guys can see how simple these ingredients are. And Ellen, we were speaking earlier about, like, why is this pizza crust healthier than a pizza crust from like Domino's?
Yeah, and we got into kind of a really good conversation about that. And if we think about, you go into a pizza place, let's say Domino's, Jets, something like that, and we think about the example of a nutrition label. And when you're looking at a nutrition label and trying to find something that is healthy, that has healthy ingredients, so you want to find something with a short ingredient list. You want the ingredients in there that you understand and recognize and know what those things are. And
that's true. So everything
really
that
heavily processed pizza crust that we get when we go to a restaurant or buy a pizza is a really good example of a crust that has a lot of extra ingredients in there that are not going to be healthy. So a lot of things that you can't understand, really lengthy list. The awesome thing about these pizza crusts that we're making today are just a couple ingredients, quinoa in there, tons of fiber, tons of vitamins and minerals, so we know exactly what those ingredients are, so it's awesome.
Awesome, yeah, super simple ingredients. You guys knew what everything was, and it doesn't have that long laundry list of ingredients, additives, preservatives.
Artificial ingredients.
Yeah, that's all been processed. This is not processed. Okay, guys, so I threw it all in here. Now this part, we are gonna blend it for quite a while because we don't really want our pizza to have the little pieces of quinoa. We want it to be as blended as possible. So we are just gonna let that go for a while. And this is like magic to me. It's like turning quinoa into pizza crust. Totally blew my mind. You can stop it and rub down the sides. We gotta get all these little guys down there.
So I imagined I'm gonna have a few different ingredients in my pizza crust.
You are. Not too many though. You're still gonna be able to pronounce them all.
Okay.
And yours is gonna have more protein, although quinoa is very high in protein.
Look at that.
Yes, this is going into yours.
Ah.
And guys, this step is really important to get it really blended well. So you need a little bit of patience here. Just kind of watch it, and you're gonna see as it goes from really being like little pieces of quinoa to looking like a dough. And the vegetarian crust is gonna be a little bit more liquidy and runny than the meat crust, but they both work. Once they go into the oven, they both turn into really good, perfect crusts.
There's a couple comments from the audience.
All right,
Linda
what's up?
Storix is excited about these recipes because she's tired of the only alternative to pizza crust being the cauliflower crust.
Yes!
So,
I've never been able to successfully make cauliflower crust. It's just mush. It's all that water.
and then Stella chimed in as
Stella,
always.
what's up, girl?
She said one of her biggest negative habits is she's always comparing her journey to other people's journeys, where you can watch somebody else that's going through the challenge, and there might be more of a drastic change. And she just remembers like the journey she's on is different. Don't compare it.
That's a really, really good point. And then just if we start comparing, then we can kind of go down a negative rabbit hole and then maybe not put as much effort out.
I think the quote is, comparison is the killer of joy. When you think about that too, we're all on our own path.
Yeah, comparison can also be the killer of results.
Absolutely,
So we
very
don't
true.
compare. I love that, Stella. Thank you for sharing. We're gonna blend this a little bit more. Okay, now I'm gonna leave mine in here and we're gonna get Erin's meat one going. One thing, okay, so we're gonna start with chicken thigh. Guys, this is nuts. Like, we're making pizza crust with chicken and it's gonna work. So this is a pound of skinless, boneless chicken thigh. We are gonna start by blending it. I'm gonna let you do it. We're gonna trade spots.
Right.
Erin's gonna do this one, guys. He's never done this before. Have you ever made pizza before?
I have never made, I've eaten a lot of pizza.
He's eaten pizza.
Yeah, I have never made pizza
And ice
before.
cream just last night.
Yep.
But you've never made pizza. Okay, so this is proof that anyone can make this.
Anyone.
Okay, so the first step, I really want to break down this chicken before we add anything else. So you're gonna put that back on. That can be tricky. That actually gets me sometimes. Guys, this is the best food processor out there. This is the one that I'm
It's
gonna
like a
send.
Rubik's Cube over
It
here.
totally is.
What am I doing? There we
Got it,
go.
got it. See,
All right.
everything has to line up or the blade won't go.
Cool.
Okay, so apply some pressure to it just because it's heavy and it sometimes will jump. There we go.
All right.
Okay, so the idea here is to really break down the chicken before we add the other ingredients. I'm gonna get that going. Okay, good?
Good.
Perfect. Okay, so next up is 2 eggs for Erin's, and the rest of this stuff we're just gonna throw in there and then just blend it all together.
Cool.
Okay,
2 eggs,
Two eggs.
going
So,
in.
guys, if we're talking about like the nutrition of ingredients, so far we have a pound of chicken and we have 2 eggs, which
Solid.
is pretty good for some fitness results. Now we have Aaron's half a cup of his soaked quinoa that he rinsed, so all the toxins came out.
So question, is there a reason why you would use a chicken thigh over a chicken breast?
There is, and thank you for asking. Chicken breast is more dry, and so by using some chicken thigh, it's going to be just not a dried out piece of crust. Now, if you do use chicken breast, you certainly can. I would just bake it for a little less amount of time because we don't want it to be all dried out and tough. So great question. Thank you for that. Okay, so next ingredient is 1 teaspoon of salt. And yours,
Right?
I think that's a half. Yours needs a little bit more salt because we're salting a whole pound of chicken in addition to 2 eggs and half a thing of quinoa. With ours, we did, or the vegetarian one, we did half a teaspoon of salt. We don't want it to get too salty. Okay, now we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. And guys, when Ellen was speaking, I also put a teaspoon of garlic into the vegetarian one. This is just for flavor. Well, we know there's nutritional benefits to it as well, but that's why I added that there.
Love it.
Okay, you got that, and that is it, guys. That was
Need
it.
any olive oil or
No.
none? Okay,
This
cool.
is it. So we're gonna blend it back up.
Right.
Guys, chicken, egg, quinoa, salt, and garlic. And this is our crust.
Cool.
Just like the first one, you really wanna make sure that it's blended well. Like Ellen said, there's a lot of fiber. So all those little pieces of quinoa are fiber, but we can break it down a little bit. I think that's good. Yeah. All right, guys. So now the next step is to spread our pizza dough out. So I'll do mine first. This is the fun part. Reaching across and trying to undo it. No, I can't do it from there. These things are very secure. This is why they last forever. No. Okay. This is live, guys. This is live. My food processor thing is jammed. Let's see if I can get Aaron's off. Please tell me we're getting comments about this.
Well, not yet.
Put
I'm
some
sure
muscle
they're
in
coming.
there.
They're coming.
What do you do, guys? I'm just gonna eat this pizza while he figures this out.
It's literally just muscle in there.
Usually, okay, so it locks into place. These things are really secure because it doesn't want to go like if there's a blade and everything. So it's a very secure thing, and there's like a locking mechanism. And so I think the locking mechanism is potentially just stuck. So what we could do is just scoop it out without taking our thing off. Oh, he did it. He did it.
I got it.
Okay. Woo, thank God Aaron was here. Okay. Woo. See, guys, not only is this healthy, it's also a workout, and I'm sweating, and I'm pretty sure we just burned some calories. Okay, guys, so we are gonna put a piece of parchment paper on a baking sheet. If you have like a fancy pizza stone at home, go ahead and use it, but put the parchment paper down. This is a little bit different than regular pizza dough. Thank you for fixing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the vegetarian one first. And this one, guys, it's gonna be a lot runnier than the meat one. But like I said, once it gets into the oven, it still sticks together and works magically. Okay, so now with traditional pizza dough, you kind of put it into a ball and you shape it and you can like throw it up in the air. Yeah, we're not gonna do that with this.
Not throwing this in the air.
We're not throwing this in the air. But what you do is you kind of rub it around like this. Okay. And I'm gonna give you a spoon so you can start doing yours as well. So the idea is to get it kind of as close to the center of the pan as possible. And then for me, since mine is runnier, it's really just about kind of moving it and smoothing it out into the size and the shape of pizza that you're looking for. And guys, you can make your pizza crust fairly thin and it's still gonna work. You don't want to have any like gaps in it. Like if you can see the parchment paper, like smooth it back over, it's not gonna stick together. But you can actually make it pretty big and pretty thin. And I always think of how wholesome food is not perfect. Like I remember one of the first things that I tried making for my kids was these cake pops when they were little, because at Starbucks, you go to Starbucks and there's cake pops, and like this time of year, like they look like little jack-o'-lanterns, and my kids asked for it, and like Ellen said, if something has a whole bunch of ingredients, it's not good for you. And I don't know if you guys have ever looked at the number of ingredients on cake pops, but it's like, I want to say it's like 100. Wow. Like it was so like insane to me that I was like, no, like you guys can't have this. So we went home and I made a cake pop, and I ground up walnuts and dates and stuff, and almost made like a little power ball. And then I coated it, I melted down coconut oil, and then I added in real pumpkin, which, and I made it and like put it in the fridge so it would be hard, and made the little eyes out of like the little stevia chips. But it's, when we make stuff that's wholesome, it's imperfect. Like it doesn't look like the processed, manufactured things. And when we make this pizza dough, like, guys, it's going to be lumpy, and it's going to be like a different shape, and it's, it has that fiber and it has that texture. And then I started thinking like bigger and about like our own journey, and how like we aren't perfect and we're not cookie cutters, right, guys? But we talk about, Stella said comparing herself, and we see all these images, especially women. I know men deal with it too, but we see all these images of like, oh, that's what I should look like. I should look like the store-bought cake pop, instead of really embracing our own journey and embracing who we are, because this stuff with the wholesome ingredients and just, us being who we are is just so much more powerful than a cookie cutter.
Very, very true. And it tastes and look better.
It tastes and look better, guys.
Absolutely.
So you be your own unique cake pop. Okay, we have smoothed this out. It is good to go. The cool thing about this kitchen is there's a magic oven.
Yes.
Underneath this counter.
Where Ellen is also hiding.
Where Ellen's down there in the magic oven. And so we are going to show you. Okay, so for the vegetarian one, it is, I think it's $4.25. And this one, I cooked it for 10 minutes, and then I flipped it. So it's a little more.
Do you need to put anything down for the parchment paper? Well, this is a guy question. Does it flip itself? Do you need to like grease anything, put anything on the pan?
No, just a pan. And then the parchment paper.
I made cookies one time, and I set the entire oven on fire because I didn't put anything down underneath. I didn't know about this parchment paper, so that was my question. That's all.
It's a good question. There's people that have that question.
Yes.
So, but because we do have this parchment paper, it actually makes flipping it really easy.
Okay.
But what I did, I brought another piece of parchment paper, and then I just held them together and I flipped it like that.
Oh, smart.
Yeah. So we do that for this. So 10 minutes at $4.25. Flip it 10 more minutes. It gets nice and golden. For the meat, it's $4.25 for 20 minutes. So
flipping.
No flipping.
No flipping.
The meat,
Got it.
And guys, the meat one, it puffs up. It looks amazing and smells great. Okay, so let's see what these things look like after we cook them. I will trade you there.
That one's mine.
That's yours, yes.
Voila.
Magic! Here we go, 20 minutes later. And guys, like how cool. Like you saw what it was before. It was like that goopy stuff. And this is our quinoa one. And this is our meat one. It's got
like a little ridge on it, like a pizza
Yeah,
dough.
I did that this morning.
So
I was
cool.
like, you know what, there's a lot going on here. So yeah, that's how easy that was. So now what we're gonna do is load it up with our toppings. And Erin has this super greens pesto. And the ingredients that we have in here, it's fresh basil. So it's like 2 cups of fresh basil. And Ellen, do you want to speak a little bit to the nutritional benefit of herbs?
Yes. So herbs, and guys, using herbs whenever you possibly can. If there's a flavor, if there's, parsley, basil, whatever it may be, but they're all excellent. So they are extremely high in antioxidants. And these are great. They actually help lower inflammation in our body. They protect against cell damage. And we get the highest amounts of these things from a lot of our herbs. It's actually amazing. So
awesome.
When I make salads or I'm putting something together with greens, a lot of times I'll find a way to just kind of get one of the herbs in there. It bulks the nutritional benefit up in whatever it is you're making tenfold.
That's
so
awesome.
Yes,
So
use these.
In addition to having the fresh basil in here, we also put a couple scoops of our powdered greens, which is pretty cool.
That is super rad. You think about a great way to sneak in powdered greens into pizza. There's no better way.
It's the best
Now your
pizza
kids
ever.
are getting nutritional value and their favorite food.
Yep.
Love it.
All right, so we're gonna spread some of that pesto. And guys, We're not going to make it here, but I am going to post the recipe for this super greens pesto. It's super easy. Again, you need a food processor. You just literally throw the ingredients in and you pulse it, and then you're going to pour the olive oil in as you're pulsing until you get like this wonderful consistency. And that's it. It's super easy. Another ingredient that we have in our super pesto, I don't like to do a lot of dairy, and so I don't use Parmesan in my pesto. I use nutritional yeast. And nutritional yeast, Ellen can say a lot about it, but guys, there are so many benefits to this. This is, when I was a vegetarian and a vegan, this was like our cheese replacement because it tastes a lot like cheese, but there's Ellen, you want to go through a quick list of why nutritional yeast is so beneficial, in addition to tasting really good, which is usually what I look for?
Yes, absolutely. So, like you said, while it can give kind of that great cheesy flavor, that a lot of times, if you're vegetarian, especially if you're vegan and you've cut out a lot of anything that's cheese, dairy, or animal related, it has that awesome cheesy flavor. But it's also great nutritionally as well. So it's really high in antioxidants. Again, actually similar to our herbs. It can protect against kind of different damages that happen to our cells, our liver. It's really high in certain vitamins and minerals. It actually comes from molasses. There's a couple different ways that they can make it, and they do a cooking fermentation process with molasses, and they collect it from there.
So guys, this is what it looks like.
And it's really great for us to use if we can find somewhere to put it in and kind of have it in our diet.
So it's big yellow flakes, and they make it from molasses, but there's just tons of great nutrition in it. Have you ever had nutritional yeast?
No, kind of looks like fish food.
It's not. It smells cheesy. It tastes cheesy like fish food. It does look like fish food, though.
Here, the goldfish, give them those little sprinkles. It's not fish food.
But it's very healthy.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so Aaron put his pesto on his pizza, and I made this recipe for the perfect chicken breast, and so I baked it this morning, seasoned it up real nice. We will post the recipe for that too. Guys, it's super easy. Put a little bit of olive oil, the seasoning blend that I came up with, and then baked it for 18 minutes. And so he's gonna go ahead and sprinkle some of that amazing chicken on his. And for mine, in sticking with the vegetarian theme, I just have a simple pizza sauce here. And guys, really, the way you top these amazing crusts is up to you. Obviously, here on the challenge, we're really concerned about macros, and you're doing that. So keep that in mind. But really, if you're having like a family pizza night, have fun with your toppings, and just know that by making this crust, you're eating something that's so much healthier, so much more protein, so much more fiber, and you're just really fueling those fitness results and really teaching your kids how delicious healthy eating can be. That's something that came up last week, was that, we're teaching our kids that healthy eating is not bad. It has a bad stigma.
And this is fun.
It's super fun, guys. It's super fun. Okay, so I don't cook with a lot of dairy, but we are going to use some fresh mozzarella today. And Ellen explained to me that when you buy mozzarella that's in water, it has less preservatives in it, and it stays fresh. And so I went ahead and got it. So this is about as fresh as you can get. So because it is so fresh, and you get one and I get one, you don't actually have to use a cheese grater. I was using a cheese grater this morning, but it just fell apart. So we can literally crumble it up, guys. This cheese is so fresh. Ellen, do you want to speak a little bit to the importance of when you're choosing cheese, what to look for?
Absolutely, yes. So choosing cheeses, I think there's so many options out there that this is one of those ones that's a really good example that it can be confusing. It can be hard to, what am I looking for when I'm looking for a cheese that's healthier than others? And a lot of times what you want to look for is anything on the label is going to say a raw cheese or an organic cheese. If you see that, there might be grass-fed and a couple of those different labels. But if you find something that's packaged in water, so the mozzarella is a really good example. That liquid, that water in there is doing a lot of the preserving and keeping it fresh. So some of those other chemicals and things that they put in to do the preserving, they don't need to use. So it does have a little bit less preservative in there as well.
Very cool. So if it's in water, it's fresher, and it's going to taste better.
Love it.
All right, guys, so that was it. Now we would stick these back in the oven. For Aaron's pizza with the meat, I would crank the oven up to 500, and I would put it in there for about 6 minutes. And you know, watch it as the cheese starts to melt and it starts to look golden, like you'll know when to pull it out. And for mine, I would leave it at the 425, and I'd leave it in there for about 10 to 12 minutes until it looks ready.
Cool.
And kind of like we were talking about how, like, you know, when you make wholesome food, it's not going to look cookie cutter. It's not going to look perfect. When these pizzas are cooking, there is going to be some liquid that's being released, especially if you look, I mean, gosh, we used the fresh mozzarella with the water and just the different ingredients that we're using here. The good news is some of it starts to be reabsorbed and it doesn't affect the integrity of the piece of pizza. You can still pick it up and eat it. But again, it's just part of cooking with healthy stuff. It's going to look a little different, but it's going to taste even better.
I love it. I love it.
So guys, can we end with another healthy habit? Ooh, I had one. When I was thinking of my old unhealthy habits, I used to snack on like high carb snacks at night, which I think a good amount of people do. If you like watch TV or you used to.
Yeah.
Now you
I had ice cream last night.
But so that was one of my big things when I first started getting into fitness. I'm like, why am I gaining weight? It's like, well, you're snacking at night on carbs. And so these days, during this season, during the winter, I peel grapefruit and I eat that at night. That's really good.
You know, not even just a kitchen habit though, but just cutting back a little bit of the binge watching on Netflix or TV.
Yes.
I'd say that's one habit that so many of us get into.
Yes.
I've definitely been a victim of that.
Yeah.
One episode is great, but it's like, I can squeeze in one more. But then it affects our sleep pattern, which is so important to resetting our cortisol levels and making sure we have energy the next day so we're not overly caffeinated.
That's a really good habit of going to bed at the same time and
Yep.
waking up at the same time every day.
Yes.
I think that's a beautiful habit to leave our friends with.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much. Aaron, do you have anything to share from True Lean? People want
Yes.
to make these amazing
Oh, man.
greens and Everyday Fit, which I'm hooked on.
Absolutely. So we had just launched our True Lean fan page on Facebook. So we'd love it if you guys would like and share and go over to True Lean Facebook page and tell your friends. That'd be awesome. And then we also have a coupon code for everybody that's watching today. It's Greens22. Is that right, Tyler? Yes. And we're going to drop that in the comment section below. But Greens22, you get 22% off everything on the site, especially the powdered greens.
Perfect.
Great opportunity
Stock
to get
up on
stocked up.
Everyday Fit because we're back. This is our new packaging for Everyday Fit. And guys, you add this to your water. It makes water taste good.
0 calorie, 0 sugar. It is a all-day, everyday water enhancer. It just helps you feel good about drinking more water.
I'm pretty sure it like has some kind of mood enhancement too.
There is.
It's like I drink it and I'm like, why am I
just
so
feel good.
happy?
Yeah.
Why is this making
Zero
me so
stimulant
happy?
though too, which is rad.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is staying away from a lot of that caffeine. So awesome. Guys, please share with us what are these old habits, because if you identify it and you can share it, then you can help the rest of us. Like somebody else on the page is probably going to be like, oh, light bulb, like shoot, I do that too. So share with us, hashtag #IamFitBody. I'm going to give away a food processor. I'm going to include a written note on how to take the thing off because I'm going to learn. And Greens22, guys, thank you so much for being here with us. Aaron, thank you for coming down and cooking with me and sharing. So guys, have a great week. When I see you next week, it'll be the end of week 5, and we will be well over 50,000 pounds lost. I'm super excited for you guys. Ellen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. This was awesome.
Thank you, Ellen.
All right, guys, same place, same time. Actually, no, I just realized I'm going to be on Wednesday next week because next week is a little different, and I have a very special guest. It's going to be Wednesday at 12 noon PST. His name is Matt Wilbur.
Ooh.
I know, it's pretty exciting. Matt Wilbur
awesome.
is going to be on here. And
In the kitchen?
In the kitchen with me.
Oh, man.
Guys, this is a big deal. Matt is our VP of Product and Results. He's based out in Michigan. He actually works with Ellen, but he's going to be in California. And I was like, do you want to come on my show? And he sent me a list of what he cooks. It's like man food. It's like poor man's guacamole. And it's like for people who don't really cook, but they need the function. We are going to have a lot of man food going on next Wednesday. I'm excited. Hope to see you there. And guys, just have a great week and stick with it.
Happy Thursday,
Bye,
guys. Take care.
guys.